some of you already on with your day. Blessings to everybody. You're gonna have to excuse me for slapping my teeth. It's because sometimes I have reflux, and the reflux comes up, it makes me want to yawn, and all those other things. Sorry about that. I'm what you need. You're watching my channel. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget you can like, subscribe, share. You can also donate via the description that you have there, the link, PayPal. Let me go into some scripture. The Most High always comes first, so I want to start with the Most High. Psalms 119, verses 1 to 3. They basically say, happy are the people of integrity who follow the law of God. Happy are those who obey his decrees and search for him with all their hearts. They do not compromise with evil, and they walk only in his paths. So I'm going to share that with you guys before I get into this. It's going to be very brief. Leonard Ellerbe, in an interview, a shout out to Aki Sports TV, Fight Hub, and Fight Hype. They all covered this. He said that Canelo's not scared of anyone. He's not scared of David Benavidez. He then talked about Floyd with Margarito and several other people, and Floyd wasn't afraid of Margarito. He said Canelo's proven himself, and it's not what you guys want to see. It's not when you want to see it. It goes with the business of boxing. The thing about it is this. Again, shout out to Fight Hub. This is the problem here.
And I fight all my entire life anybody. What do you think? I don't want to fight with Benavidez. Look, what he's accomplished? Nothing. One single champion, Anthony Derrell. Please, don't disrespect myself. When I say I don't want to fight Mexican, it's because I represent Mexico. But I don't care. I fight anybody, and I fight all my entire life anybody. What do you think? I don't want to fight with Benavidez. Look, what he's accomplished? Nothing. One single champion, Anthony Derrell. Please, don't disrespect myself. When I say I don't want to fight.
Right. You heard that, right? That's what Canelo Alvarez said. He said he doesn't want to fight a Mexican because he represents Mexico. There are other fighters out there, so he would fight somebody who's not Mexican because he's already Mexican. He represents Mexico. Why fight a Mexican if he represents Mexico? Then he goes on to say, you think I don't want to fight David Benavidez? But who has David Benavidez beat? He only beat one champion, Anthony Derrell. This was a year ago. Now, I want to show you guys something, because facts are facts and fiction is fiction. Here is David Benavidez's resume. He said that David Benavidez only beat one world champion, and that is not true at all. He beat Demetrius Andrade, who was a two-time world champion in two different divisions. He beat Caleb Plant, former IBF world champion who had just faced Canelo Alvarez, came off of actually knocking out Anthony Derrell to face him. He also faced David Lemieux, who was a 160-pound IBF world champion. And he also faced Anthony Derrell, who was the WBC super middleweight champion. He fought and he beat 4 world champions. So Canelo's claim, even when he did it the year before, that David Benavidez has only beaten 1 world champion is not true. He had beaten 2 at that time, David Lemieux and Anthony Derrell. In fact, he also probably had beaten Caleb Plant as well. So it would have been 3 world champions. It was a year ago. It's possible it could have been 2 or 3, but he was wrong. And here's the other big irony of the situation. Now, he said he wouldn't fight a Mexican because obviously he represents Mexico, so he's already covering Mexico. So why fight another Mexican when he can fight other people of the world? I get that. I understand what he's saying. But to say that David Benavidez only fought one world champion, he ain't fought anybody, so why should he fight him, is being a bit disingenuous. Let's go through the opponent he's about to face, Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia has not faced a world champion in a good minute. John Ryder, Sergey Derevyanchenko, good fighters, but they're not world champions. Gabe Rosado, no. Zarameta, no. Toriano Johnson, no. And also, look at the experience of these fighters. They're not really, there's the one veteran in here, maybe two, but that's about it, you know. Gary O'Sullivan, Dennis Hogan, none of these are world champions. Takashi Inoue, no. The only world champions this guy has faced in his entire career is Liam Smith and Saddam Ali. So what is Canelo actually saying? He's able to face a guy who hasn't faced a world champion in almost 6 years. But he's here trying to convince us that David Benavidez is not worthy to face him, having recently faced a world champion in Demetrius Andrade, but only a couple of months ago. About 5 months ago. Okay, one more thing. Canelo Alvarez, in a recent interview, and I'm going to try and find it, he said this. Let me see if I can find the recent interview. I'll have to go into history. Here we are. Trying to find it. I don't see it right now. But in a very recent, actually, you know what I need to do is just go home. Go to subscriptions. Let me go to subscriptions. That's not a good idea either, huh? I got other things going on here. Let me see if I can find it, though. So ironic that trying to maneuver on this device versus my phone could take a very long time. Stupid. All right. Wow. Anyway, on Fight Hub, I believe it was, on Fight Hub TV, Canelo is also saying that David Benavidez brings nothing to the table. And when he says brings nothing to the table, he's talking from a business perspective. That is to say, David Benavidez is not his own boss. He has to work through Al Heyman. He has to work through whatever promotional company, maybe TGB Promotions. And therefore, what does David Benavidez bring to the table in terms of money to give to Canelo or some promoter to put up money for the fight? Because Canelo's the guy that'll have to do the offering. It won't be David Benavidez because he's the A side. So he also said that. But the thing about it is, compared to Jaime Munguia, David Benavidez is probably the biggest fight that Canelo could have against any kind of opponent. Now, Al Heyman, probably not to upset Canelo, is doing this Jaime Munguia fight, but really and truly, and Canelo's probably saying, no David Benavidez. But the truth be told, David Benavidez, if Al Heyman, because David Benavidez is managed by Al Heyman, if David Benavidez is brought to the table, that's a massive, massive fight. Of course, David Benavidez right now is going to be taking on Alexander Gvozdyk at 175, which is a hell of a fight right there. But suffice it to say that Canelo taking on David Benavidez would be a huge fight. Yes, David Benavidez is not his own boss. He'll have to depend on maybe TGB Promotions to put up the money with Canelo Alvarez to make that fight happen. It's the promotional cost, that is. And then there need to be guaranteed purses, which would have to go through a purse bid. And does Canelo make any exceptional money more than he would usually make? Risk versus reward. This is what Canelo would be calculating for this fight, which would be, a much more difficult fight than, say, a Munguia fight. And I'm not trying to put down the fact that a Munguia fight won't be difficult. All fights are difficult because you have to prepare for them. But what I'm saying is that the challenges presented by David Benavidez, would be a lot more because David Benavidez has a lot more experience. Obviously, he's fought more world champions. Obviously, he is a bigger guy. Obviously, he's a natural 168-pounder. He didn't just come up into the division. He's a big dude. And, his skill set and his IQ are quite high. He's much sharper than Jaime Munguia. Jaime Munguia is still growing. He's still developing. And Jaime Munguia will benefit quite highly from a fight with Canelo because of experience. So all of these things play a role. Of course, Jaime Munguia is backed by Golden Boy, which could put up the money not only to help with the purse bid or the guaranteed purses, but also put up the money for the promotion. So Canelo has some help there. So I can understand business-wise why Canelo is somewhat saying that the Jaime Munguia fight, for the amount of money he's going to get, he's going to get paid more or less the same to face David Benavidez. Why would I do that? My might as well go. But see, this is the point that I want to make with everybody. That sometimes it's about facing the guy. It's not about the paycheck. It's about the guy. And I know Canelo's in the latter end of his career. I understand all that. But he's made a ton of money. He's fine. Okay? He's fine. He's managed well. And I'm not saying give the fans what they want to see. I'm not saying that either. Because the fans won't be there for you, if anything happens to you. So, but what I'm saying is that Canelo Alvarez knows that a Benavidez fight would be a huge fight, and his guaranteed purse would probably be higher. Well, obviously it would be higher than the Jaime Munguia fight because of risk versus reward. The question is he willing to accept the amount of money he would be paid, guaranteed purse, and then the split, which he would get? Now, let me say something that Jose Benavidez said. I don't know how true this is, that they agreed to the purse. They agreed to the amount of money Canelo's guaranteed to be paid, that all these things happened. There was some sort of transaction between Canelo and them. This is what they allege. I tend to believe them that Canelo's camp actually was trying to do some negotiations with them and then stopped and decided to do something else. I tend to believe that. However, the details of it, we don't know. And why I say that is because, again, Jose Benavidez is not the one doing the negotiation. They're not the ones doing all they're doing is accepting whatever is presented to them. Okay? Obviously, they work through Al Heyman and they work through TGB Promotions. So I'm assuming TGB Promotions and Al Heyman were working with Canelo Alvarez, Alvarez's people, that is, and they were trying to negotiate a David Benavidez Canelo fight. And I don't know how far the negotiations went. But the point is that Canelo Alvarez is ducking David Benavidez. I will tell you why. And I will show you why. It has to do with the WBC. So I'm spending some time, trying to be as thorough as possible with you guys to show you the actual evidence. So we are at the WBC site, okay? Go here. Oh, shit. There you go. Super middleweight division. Now, if you look, Canelo Alvarez, as it says right there on the screen, I don't know if you guys can see this, but Canelo Alvarez is the WBC super middleweight champion. Now, ironically, what I'm seeing here, which is very weird, okay. Now the interim champion, so Canelo Alvarez is the WBC super middleweight champion. Now, below him, there's the interim champion, which is David Benavidez. Okay, and then below him is Jaime Munguia, who is the silver champion. Now, for some weird reason, the WBC has bypassed the interim champion here, and Jaime Munguia is the #1 contender for Canelo's title. So I'm guessing the WBC did their little, shall I say, fudging to get that to happen. They fudged the situation so that Canelo's taking on the silver champion, and he doesn't have to take on, because he's a super champion, he doesn't have to take on oh, he's not the super champion, he's the champion, sorry. He doesn't have to take on Jaime Munguia. Now, he was a franchise champion once upon a time. Not Jaime Munguia, David Benavidez. Now, we don't want to talk about David Morrell and David Benavidez with David Morrell, or Canelo with David Morrell, but we'll talk about that some other time. The point is, what I'm showing you guys here, which is from the data, is that Canelo Alvarez is supposed to be facing David Benavidez, who was the #1 contender, and all of a sudden he's been promoted to interim champion. And Canelo should be fighting the interim champion. He shouldn't be fighting right now the #1 contender. But instead, he's fighting the #1 contender, and David Benavidez is left on the side shelf. So that's why David Benavidez said, you know what, screw this. And he went up to 175, and he's fighting Alexander Gvozdyk. Because David Benavidez has been the #1 contender to Canelo's titles since 2000, I believe, since 2021. 3 years now. Okay? This reminds me of Dillian White and his situation as well. So the WBC has cleverly kept Canelo away from David Benavidez. Okay? He wished not to face him, and they have honored that. Now, let's get back to Mr. Leonard Ellerbe. Let's get back to him. Mr. Leonard Ellerbe said that Canelo is not scared or afraid to fight any fighter. Nobody ever said any of these fighters are afraid or scared to fight any of the fighters. But you must understand, this is their living. They're professional fighters. They make a living off of this. So that every win brings up the value of a fighter. Every loss brings down the value of a fighter, market-wise. When Canelo lost to Dimitri Bivol, he took a hit. His value went down. He had to go and fight Triple G. He had to go and fight a number of other fighters to get his value back up. I think his win against Jamel Charlo really brought his stock back up. And that's what helped him. It's called your stock going down or up. So while fighters may not be afraid to face one another, as Canelo said, he's not afraid to face anybody, they are very strategic, and they are concerned about facing a fighter who can give them a tough fight and they'll possibly beat them. Okay? And that's the reality of the situation. This is why we said Canelo is ducking David Benavidez. Now, just to add to that, another point I'm going to make is that Leonard Ellerbe tried to defend the business, saying it's when it makes business sense and it's about timing. And nobody's saying that David Benavidez won't be there, right? He'll be around. He says he's going to be at 175, 168, 175, 160. He's going to fight. So David Benavidez will be around. That's not the problem. The problem is meritocracy. David Benavidez is and has been Canelo's #1 contender for 3 years. 3 years. Okay? He has consistently kept that position. Now, some people want to make the argument, well, David Benavidez, he missed weight. That's why he lost his belt, and therefore that's on him. No, that happened. That happened 4 years ago. Since then, David Benavidez has been put in position, and he has established and he has earned that position of being the #1 contender to Canelo Alvarez. It should have been the mandatory. They never mandated it. The WC to this day has not mandated David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez. This 3 years has passed. 3 years have passed. Canelo has fought Yildirim. Yildirim, who has beaten no world champions ever in his career. The closest he's come to beating a world champion was the competition he gave against Anthony Durrell, who he lost to. But he, being the mandatory and #1 contender, even though David Benavidez ranked higher than him, got a shot at Canelo. Now, why is Canelo facing Yildirim, but he's not facing David Benavidez? How is that financially better? How is Yildirim bringing something to the table to Canelo that benefits Canelo? Financially, the fight was a dud. It's a terrible fight. And on top of that, Canelo's stock went down because of that fight. So the conventional wisdom that fighting a certain fighter brings your stock up by winning is not always true. I've seen fighters lose fights, but they were very exciting fights, and their stock went up. Guys like Sean Porter. Okay? So it's not true that it's all about winning a fight. It's about exciting fights. And everyone and their mama know David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez is going to be a guaranteed exciting fight. And as I said before, if Canelo were to face David Benavidez right now, today, I don't think David Benavidez quite has but he's now going to do that by facing Gvozdyk. If he triumphs over Gvozdyk at 175, now he has that 175 power experience. He's felt a 175 pounder in the ring with 10-ounce gloves. So what Canelo is actually doing is a disservice to himself. If he was to be the next fight, instead of Gvozdyk, Canelo was to fight David Benavidez now instead of Munguia, he would have an advantage over David Benavidez because he would have fought at a higher weight class in a ring with 10-ounce gloves against a bigger, stronger guy. What Canelo is doing without realizing it is he's making David Benavidez more and more and more a better fighter every time he does not fight him. So David Benavidez is about to go up to 175. And he's about to taste the power of a 175 pounder. He's about to taste the strength of a 175 pounder. He's about to get better. What Canelo had and what Canelo experienced at 175 twice, David Benavidez is about to experience. Which means David Benavidez is slowly closing that gap between himself and Canelo Alvarez. Okay? And while Canelo Alvarez is still the more skilled fighter, in my opinion, I do believe Canelo versus David Benavidez is now, the gap is closing. So where I thought Canelo would have been able to beat David Benavidez because of his style and so on, slowly it is closing and David Benavidez is catching up to Canelo. And the prophecy of David Benavidez beating Canelo becomes more and more real and more true the longer Canelo takes to face David Benavidez. Johnny Cash says, let me borrow one of your kidneys. No. So, inevitably, Canelo Alvarez, by facing Jaime Munguia, who has almost no real championship experience. And what I mean by that is he has fought at the championship level. He's become a world champion. But he's never really faced a real world champion. The two champions he faced, the first one being Saddam Ali, and the second one being Liam Smith. Liam Smith's a good fighter, but Canelo knocked out Liam Smith. Okay? And Liam Smith at the time, this is at 154, you know, was a good, solid British champion, or good, solid fighter, but he wasn't even a world champion at the time. Since then, yes, you know, Jaime Munguia has grown as a fighter. You know, he's faced some tough fights with Derevyanchenko, and then he stopped John Ryder. But truth be told, this kid has zero experience compared to Canelo. Canelo has a wealth of experience. And a lot of fans will say, well, Benavidez versus Canelo later down, wouldn't it make more money? It depends. It depends on if Canelo Alvarez can continue to excite and stop fighters and beat up fighters, and Benavidez keeps on winning. You remember, the problem with this is if one of these guys loses, it takes the luster off of the matchup. We've seen it with Deontay Wilder and with Anthony Joshua. When you try to draw out a fight, you're taking a risk. You're taking a risk. And remember, boxing is about entertainment, so the fans are important to get your pay-per-views up. Right? Now, Canelo doesn't care too much about that because his pay-per-view averages around 500 to 1,000, 500,000 to a million pay-per-view buys, regardless. He cruises around that. That's why he's not really concerned, because remember, money's not a problem for Canelo anymore. He's made tons and tons of money. The same thing with Tank. Tank doesn't care because he can fight a dud and y'all will go see it. Right? Because he gives you knockouts. So Tank is not concerned about facing the best, which Blue Blood Sports TV, he's going on his, he actually believes Tank is going to face Shakur or he's going to face Devin. No, if he can fight a dud, Tank can fight an inexperienced dud, or, a guy that's, I don't want to call him a dud. Like Frank Martin's not a dud, okay? But Frank Martin lacks a lot of experience. Tank is going to be the veteran in there. He's going to teach Frank Martin stuff. That's a fight in which Frank Martin knows this. Tank knows this. You understand? It'll be up to Frank Martin to prove that he's really on that level, and then he's going to have to prove he can give Tank a run for his money, and then he's going to have to prove that he can beat Tank. Because if he upsets the apple cart, now Tank can't just fight duds anymore. When Dimitri Bivol beat Canelo Alvarez, upset the cart for a moment. Okay? Now the cart's back up and running. Canelo's not looking to face any David Benavidez. If he can, he's not going to face David Benavidez. Okay? Which is sad. He avoided Demetrius Andrade as well, making the same excuses. Who did Demetrius Andrade beat? Who did Yildirim beat? Who did Liam Smith beat when he faced Canelo Alvarez? Because Canelo fought some duds, some straight up duds. Okay, he fought some straight up duds. So who did what's the guy's name? the fake champion. I forgot what his name is. Hold on, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get the dud's name. I'm calling them duds. What I mean by that is smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors. Okay? Who did not John Ryder. John Ryder was a good fighter. Who did Rocky Fielding beat? Who did Rocky Fielding beat for Canelo to face Rocky Fielding? Called a soft touch, ladies and gentlemen. A soft touch. Okay? Avni Yildirim, Rocky Fielding, Liam Smith, soft touches. Amir Khan, soft touches. Of all the people, Mr. Chinny Chin Chin, come on. Okay, these are soft touches. Canelo faced them. Okay? What did they do to earn a shot at Canelo? What did Amir Khan do to earn a shot at Canelo? What did Liam Smith do to earn a shot at Canelo? What did Rocky Fielding do to earn a shot at Canelo? What did Avni Yildirim do to earn a shot at Canelo? I'm just saying. If you're going to keep it 100, keep it 100 all the way around. Right? So, yeah, he's ducking David Benavidez. And I don't care what Mr. Leonard Ellerbe says, and I have respect for Mr. Leonard Ellerbe, but he is defending ducking. And Leonard Ellerbe has been defending ducking with Tank, and he has been defending ducking with Canelo. And he's been maintaining that Tank would beat, Devin Haney, and he would beat Shakur, he beat all of them. He's talking, and nobody cares about what you say, Leonard Ellerbe, like that. You can make those claims till you're blue in the face. Means absolutely nothing until they match up and they fight. Means nothing. Tank is another fighter. Well, he's worse than Canelo because he is straight up facing guys who are not the best in the division. Now, I'm not going to fault him and say the last couple of opponents that Tank has had, they're not good fighters. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to call them duds. But to say that they're the best, that the best is facing the best, that's not happening. Tank Davis has not faced the best in any division he's been in. But he's delivering knockouts. And that brings excitement. And that is what people want to see. And so once he's delivering knockouts, they think he can hoodwink the public into believing he's the best fighter out there. And that is just not going to rock with fans like myself who know better. We know he's ducking Shakur. We know he's ducking Devin Haney. And we know he's not going to face Shakur anytime soon. And he's not going to face Devin Haney anytime soon. And Blue Blood is going to be disappointed. Because I can tell you, Tank is not going to face Shakur Stevenson next after this fight with Frank Martin. And he's not going to face Devin Haney next. He's too comfortable beating guys who are not the best and getting knockouts. He's not interested in facing the best. Period. The sooner you guys realize that, the better it'll be. And Leonard Ellerbe will continue. He will continue to claim that Tank can beat Devin and Shakur. And he's going to make those claims. He's going to make all that hype. Even though Tank at the time is not facing anyone on that level. And these guys are just getting better and better and better. Tank's best opportunity to beat these guys was now. And the more the time elapses, is the better these guys are going to get. And the more convincingly they will beat him when they face him. So they can post sparring clips. They can make claims. It doesn't matter. So being a cash cow doesn't mean that you're the best. Oscar De La Hoya was a cash cow for a very long time in boxing. He wasn't the best. Floyd became the cash cow of boxing off of Oscar. Oscar wasn't even the best in his division at the time. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is boxing. And by the way, would you guys please stop doing close-ups of Leonard Ellerbe's face? Don't do that to the man. And stop trying to shoot the shots up his nose. Stop doing that. Okay? You guys need to know how to handle a camera. Notice how I angle the camera to make myself look better? If I do like this, I look crazy. So don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that to the man. The man doesn't have a big nose. Y'all pushing the camera all up in his nose. All up under his nose. Stop doing that. It's unprofessional. Stop shoving the camera in an interviewee's face. When you're interviewing someone, you keep a respectable distance with the camera. Look, I'm keeping a respectable distance. I want to look good on camera. He wants to look good on camera. Look how the man keeps himself shaved well and everything. Man always keeps himself looking crisp, on point. Don't be shooting shots up the man's nose. Stop it. Okay? And he has his opinion. There's nothing wrong with him giving his opinion. He's not getting paid to give his opinion. So let the man give his opinion. I don't have a problem with that. My thing is, he is defending ducking. That's what he's defending. And to tell me, oh, he's going to cite Floyd and Margarito. Well, let's see. Bob Arum started that interest in Floyd facing Margarito. And some people will still say to this day that Floyd ducked Antonio Margarito. He should have taken that fight instead of Carlos Baldomir, who was the lineal champion, just beat Zab Judah. I mean, come on now. We in the welterweight division. Okay? And the difference between the David Benavidez situation and Floyd and Margarito situation is this. Antonio Margarito was calling out Floyd and saying he's ducking and everything. Then he goes and he loses to Paul Williams. He loses his non-important title belt, the WBO at the time, which was not the important belt in 2007. He goes and loses to Paul Williams. Okay? Understand, Bob Arum was making this thing about Floyd ducking, Margarito in 2006. By 2007, Margarito didn't have the title anymore. Paul Williams beat him. It was just 1 year. This wasn't 3 years. Margarito was like the number one contender for Floyd's belt. He's not even a number one contender for Floyd's belt because he wasn't even in the WBC. He was in the WBO. He was a long reigning champion in the WBO. Nobody's saying no. WBO isn't recognized like it is recognized today. It only gained status in 2007 as I believe it was I think the end of 2007, it was one of the 4 belts now recognized as being undisputed. It finally got that recognition. I think at the end of 2007 or 2008, something like that. Okay? So you can't use the Antonio Margarito example because Antonio Margarito lost to Paul Williams. He started chirping. He started talking about, Floyd don't want to face me, blah, 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 blah. And then he lost. The same thing with Paul Williams. Paul Williams didn't even stay champion for a year. He started chirping. And then guess what? A Puerto Rican fighter who was a southpaw beat him. He lost. And then Floyd retired right after he lost. So you can't use that example. David Benavidez has been calling out Canelo for God knows how long. Once Canelo came in this division, he started chirping and calling him out as he was supposed to do. And it's been 3 years. 3 years since David Benavidez has put himself in position and has been the number one contender for Canelo Alvarez. And to this day, Canelo hasn't faced him. And this is not the first time Canelo has ducked a fighter. The other fighter is Demetrius Andrade. Canelo had one more belt to get to be undisputed. Instead of facing Demetrius Andrade, he jumps up, and I see fighters doing this a lot. I saw Mikey Garcia do this. He didn't want to face Lomachenko, so he jumped up 2 weight classes and faced Errol Spence and got his ass whooped. Canelo jumped up 2 weight classes to face Sergey Kovalev. Now, don't get me wrong. Canelo always wanted to face Kovalev, right? So he went after that. But his goal at first was to face Demetrius Andrade. Now, he did get stripped of the IBF title, I think, just before he was supposed to face Demetrius Andrade. I think they were trying to make negotiations for that fight to happen. But this is not the first time. He also ducked Demetrius Andrade at 154. He was in line to face Demetrius Andrade at 154, and he ducked Demetrius Andrade. When Demetrius Andrade was stripped, I think, of the WBO title, he went and fought for the WBO title after that. And you saw the same thing with David Benavidez. David Benavidez, WBC champion, got stripped. That's when Canelo's fighting now Yildirim for the WBC title. All of a sudden, he wants the WBC title. All of a sudden, that's up for him to face Callum Smith. Let's be real about this. I don't look good, and it looks like a duck. And he didn't have the moral integrity or constitution to say, oh, you know what, this guy the number 1 contender. Oh, I'll take him on. I'm gonna take on David Benavidez, whoop his ass, so you all can say I'm a legitimate guy. He never did that. Whereas Floyd, after he beat Zab Judah, he went on to face Carlos Baldomir to say, oh, this is a real dude? Okay, I'm going to whoop his ass. Okay, I'm going to whoop his ass so y'all know I'm the real champion. When people allege that he faced Zab Judah, but he didn't face the guy that beat Zab Judah. Okay, so it's different. It really is different. You know, the claims of Floyd ducking is different to the claims of Canelo ducking. Canelo straight up said, you know, I represent Mexico. I don't want to face a Mexican fighter. Who's he facing right now? Jaime Munguia. He said David Benavidez bring nothing to the table. Demetrius Andrade don't bring nothing to the table, meaning they haven't faced enough world champions for me to face them. Yildirim ain't faced nobody. Munguia ain't faced nobody. Liam Smith ain't faced nobody. Why are you fighting these guys? Explain to me why you fighting them. And then Ellerbe's now jumping on the Canelo train, and he's saying he's trying to defend that. Then Canelo's saying, well, he don't bring no money to the table because he's not a negotiator. Benavidez and they not the people that bring the money. And Munguia don't bring the money. It's Golden Boy. Okay? Your negotiation with Al Heyman and TGB Promotions. We all know this. And they was going to bring the money. Because they bring in the money right now for the Munguia versus Canelo fight, even though Golden Boy's contributing some of the money to that too. You got to put up money before a fight happens. You understand? The promotional aspect of it. It costs a lot of money to do. And it's on a new platform, Amazon Prime. Okay? But nonetheless, the point is, you're saying that David Benavidez don't bring nothing to the table in terms of money is ridiculous. Because who backs David Benavidez? It's Al Heyman, TGB Promotions, and whatever other small promotional company and sponsors that come in and contribute the money. So you're not really saying nothing. Right? Then we hear Canelo saying that, you know, $100 million or $250 million is what it'll take for him to face David Benavidez. Come on now. You really serious? That fight ain't valued at that. Canelo trying to make a Mayweather-Pacquiao payday. He's all pricing himself. You make like 35 to 55 million a fight, guaranteed. Plus you get back in from the pay-per-view. Obviously, if you're going to face David Benavidez and you think it's going to be a big fight, you will want more. All right, maybe 70, 80 million, right? He asking for 3, 4, 5 times that amount, right? Which is ridiculous. He's pricing himself out because he knows it's a difficult fight with David Benavidez. But he knows also he's going to have to face David Benavidez if he wants his history and his record to be remembered in history. Otherwise, they're going to keep on saying, you duck David Benavidez. They're already saying you duck Demetrius Andrade. They're already saying you duck Jamal Charlo. You brought up Jamal Charlo up 2 divisions. They're going to say these things, right? I'm not saying they're right because he beat Jamal Charlo fair and square, in my opinion. Mel decided to jump up 2 weight classes to face Canelo to get that payday because payday, they want payday. Nobody's joking. This is a profession. Got to get paid. You know, Terrence Crawford. You think Terrence Crawford chirping about facing Canelo. He thinks he could beat Canelo, blah, 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 blah. You think that's the only incentive with Terrence Crawford? No, he wants big fights. Crawford wants big fights. And the big money in boxing, it don't come from AJ. It don't come from Tyson Fury. It don't come from Gervonta Tank Davis. It come from Canelo. Canelo is the cash cow of boxing. Whether y'all believe it or not, Canelo is the dude. You want to get paid? Payday. Payday. They want payday. So, of course, Terrence Crawford is going to go where the money is. He jumped up 4 weight classes. 5, 6 for a payday from Canelo. Because a payday with Canelo, Crawford makes like, what, 20 million? He make about 20 million a fight, right? That fight, Crawford versus Canelo, just because of the weight discrepancy, because of the skill set of Crawford, because of Canelo, that buzz, black versus Mexican, all that kind of stuff, that buzz, that would break pay-per-view. It would break a couple pay-per-view milestones. That would be a tremendously big fight, in which the whole world would tune in to see. Now Crawford don't care if he wins or loses. I mean, of course he cares if he wins or loses. But that risk is worth the reward. He might make double the amount of money, and depending on how he negotiate, he might get close to almost triple the amount of money he's ever made. Okay? Canelo would be making something like 200 and something million. Okay? He'd make some money. That would be a tremendously big fight. And whether Crawford win or lose, whether Canelo not, he win. That's a win. Professionally speaking, that's a win. That's what boxing's all about. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. This is professional sports. This is professional boxing. You make that kind of money? Forget about it. That's for your generations. That's for your kids and the kids and you, because you can't spend that money. You just can't. Reese Seaward said, what do you think of Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson? I don't think much of it at all. It's an exhibition. And it's, if you're not, this is not about serious boxing. It's just an exhibition. So for me, Jake Paul and Mike Tyson could agree how they're going to go about doing this and make it an exciting fight, which is staged. I think it's going to be a staged fight. Because no way in hell, them two are going to really go at it. And really, I mean, that's not right. I'm telling you right now. As much as Mike Tyson looks tremendous, he's a good actor. It's great to see. But that better be staged, because I'm going to tell you right now, Jake Paul could possibly knock out Mike Tyson. He's too old. I'm not saying he don't have his power and he look okay, but Jake Paul would knock him out. It would look ugly. It would not look good. And Mike Tyson, he looks great hitting pads. You can look spectacular hitting pads. The pads aren't hitting you back with 10-ounce gloves. I don't even know what kind of gloves they're going to use. If they use 18-ounce gloves and headgear, again, they're protecting the fighters. 10-ounce gloves, no headgear, Jake Paul going to knock him out. He too old. He just too old. He big, he's strong, but it's more to hit. And I'm telling you, Jake Paul will knock him out. Cold. Okay? Because no matter what Mike Tyson do, your reaction time, when you get older, your reaction time is slower. Period. And that lapse in time, and then Mike Tyson ain't fought in what? In decades? right? He had, I think he had something with Roy Jones Jr. in the COVID. I think in 2020, he and Roy Jones Jr. did something. And they look sloppy as fuck. Both of them look sloppy, especially going down the stretch. And if he's doing an 8-rounder with Jake Paul gonna stop him. He's gonna stop him somewhere around 6, 7, or 8 if it's a real fight. People saying, well, Jake Paul won't get out the first round. He will get out the first round. He's the younger, fresher of the two. And I'm not saying he has a great set of skill or anything. He's probably like a prospect level right now. But I'm telling you, that's like Mike Tyson taking on a cruiserweight, like taking on any one of the top cruiserweights right now. He gonna get dusted. Okay? So, yeah, Reese, you see what? Father Time is undefeated, you know. And I like that Mike Tyson want to push himself and stuff, but that's gonna be a stage fight. They ain't gonna. I'm telling you, no athletic commission, no sanctioning body is gonna sanction that. He's too old. We saw what happened with Evander Holyfield. He's too old. I don't care how he look. I don't care how he look in training. I don't care how he look in sparring. I don't care. That man is almost 60 years old. And it's going to look totally different when Jake Paul touches him. Once he hits him, it's going to look different. Okay? So, this boxing's a young man sport. If Tyson wanted to rumble with, you know, somebody of his age, cool. I don't care how he looks. This is a young man sport. And Jake Paul is supposedly the smaller guy. But Tyson can get hurt real bad. If it's a real fight, he can get hurt real bad. He could be in a wheelchair after that. You know, this is not no game. I mean, if it was just like 2 or 3 rounds, sure. But as soon as he gets tired, as soon as he starts to slow down, and he ain't even got his timing. He ain't gonna have his timing like that. All that sparring don't mean nothing. And you go in there with 10-ounce gloves, ninja can be ugly, real ugly. So, you know, and people are afraid to say that, but I'm just telling you all the truth. He's too old. He fighting a young buck that's 20-something years old, and he's like 58 years old. Yeah, he has a reputation. He got a reputation, but how long he can maintain that? How long he can keep that intensity? He gonna blow his load within a round or 2, and then what happens after that? Right? He gonna look good for maybe a round or 2. It depends, because if Jake connect with him, if he hits him, he's gonna take a lot of energy out of him. I don't know. I don't think Jake is gonna go all the way through, as he's a respectful guy. He's probably gonna pull some punches and help Mike save face. That's what I'm telling you. It's gonna be staged. It'll look exciting because it's staged. They're gonna stage it, and they're gonna put on a show. It's gonna be a real show, an acting show. I don't think they're gonna go all out. I think Jake's gonna want to make Mike Tyson look like Mike Tyson, and I think Mike Tyson's gonna take it easy on Jake as well. He's not gonna dial it up to 9. He took it easy on Roy Jones Jr. He started going hard on Roy, and then he dialed it back so that nobody get knocked out. But you still saw Tyson, and you still saw Roy, glimpses of them, right? But they still old, sloppy guys. Tyson was sloppy in that fight. Roy was very sloppy in that fight. You know, they just a shell of themselves. But it's nice to see them in the ring. So if Jake Paul shares the ring with Mike Tyson, doesn't knock him out, you know, and they dial it back and blah, 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 it's going to be good. You know, but it's not a real fight, in my opinion. It's not one of them real fights. That's a sideshow. Right, so I had to say what I had to say about Leonard Ellerbe. I took a pretty long time here talking about this. I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to come back to you guys. And what you need, if you like this channel, you like the content on this channel, don't forget to smash the like button. Show some courtesy to the brother. I don't see y'all smashing like buttons. I think I can figure out. I think there's something called 3 dots somewhere. I see y'all smashing the love thing. I see that all the time, but y'all don't know where the like button is. So somewhere up in the corner here, there's like 3 dots. You click on that 3 dots, and you'll be able to get to the like button. I know YouTube changed up some stuff. That's why y'all having a difficult time trying to find the like button. Yeah, somebody just hit the like button there. Right. I think there's 3 dots in the corner, and that's why I don't get no love. But it's not that y'all don't love me. It's just that y'all don't know where to smash the like button at. I get you. So the other thing I wanted to say to you guys is with boxing, I'm just a fan, right? I did a little bit of boxing, but I haven't been doing no boxing. I've been busy doing other things. I just didn't have time for boxing. Boxing's pretty expensive too, the gear and everything. But I'm gonna tell y'all straight as it is. I don't sugarcoat nothing. I don't care if people like or don't like what I'm saying. I try to tell the truth. That's what I'm about, you know, a Christian follower of Jesus Christ, disciple, all that. So I wanted to let you guys know that I've seen people in the business. They always have similar points of view like me. Sometimes I feel they steal my content and then they go off. They go off and say it like if it's their content, and it's all good too. I don't care, right? Really, honestly. But those of you who sponsor my channel, I want to just give y'all special love. I just want to salute those who have been coming through and donating to this channel. And don't forget, you guys can donate via PayPal. I think it's in the description. All you got to do is click on the title, I think, below. There's a little place on the title below. That's the description area. You'll see where you can donate to me via PayPal. The generous donations have been helpful, and that's why I've been doing a lot more videos of late, because I see some people are donating to me. You guys continue to do that. I'm telling you right now, I don't have nothing else. I don't have Cash App. I don't have all those other amenities because I live in the Caribbean. I live in Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. Y'all seen me selling juice and drinks on the side of the road. Y'all seen me traveling from one place to the next. I travel all over the place. Always doing business all over the place. You know, as they say, I'm getting my hustle on. So if you guys like it, appreciate what I'm doing, don't forget you can donate to my channel. The link is usually in the description or it's in the comment section. Also, I see a lot of you guys really enjoy my shorts. Some of y'all don't know where to click the like button for that as well. You just click the like button. I believe I don't know where it is. And YouTube don't even bring alerts anymore. So I have to actually manually go to different groups and stuff and alert you guys. So YouTube has been just a pain in the butt. I think I'm gonna have to try and find another source, and I think that the source will have to be able to pay me for views as well. And I'm gonna find that soon enough, and I'll probably couple it to YouTube so you guys on YouTube can see it, so I can make some more money. If you guys have suggestions about that, just throw it into the chat right now. I'm going to have to take a little break. I'll come back to you guys in a minute. Yeah, so after the Paul Tyson fight, you should do a review video on it. It will get lots of views and likes. I'm not really, like I said before, I'm not really hot up on that kind of stuff. I'll be honest with you guys. You know, that kind of stuff is sideshow stuff. So do I enjoy sideshow stuff sometimes? Yeah, but I really enjoy more the boxing aspect, the real competition, you know, the real sport. I do believe Tyson versus Paul will make money. It will make money, and that's the bottom line. You know, these guys are professional people. We do this for money. I'm professional as well. I'm a professional content creator, so I do this for money. So yeah, on the bottom line, it is about money, but it's also a sport. It's also about competition. And an exhibition, there's not really a winner. Even if you knock out a guy, there's no real winner. You know what I'm saying? So it's nice to see a knockout if you want to see a knockout. But again, I wouldn't want to see a legend like Mike Tyson get knocked out by Jake Paul. I just think it'll be unfair. It's like you beating up an old man. You know, I don't think that's right. Especially with Jake Paul's experience in boxing. You know, I don't want to see that. That's like saying Mike Tyson was a gatekeeper and Jake Paul is, making a name off of him. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't give nobody props. When the MMA fighter knocked out Evander Holyfield, I didn't feel good about it. I don't think anybody felt good about it. And I don't want to see that with Tyson. And I think that's the likely outcome if they go hard at each other. It's Jake Paul's going to knock him out. I don't want to see it. So with respect to Canelo's a hell of a fighter. So if you guys don't know, Canelo Alvarez has beaten now. I'm going to show you guys. The Canelo got a hell of a resume. Here, watch this. Got a hell of a resume. All right, Canelo Alvarez beat the undisputed champion at 154, Jermell Charlo. All right, that's one champion. He beat Gennady Golovkin 3 times. That's 2 champions. Was once a pound-for-pound fighter. Lost to Dimitri Bivol. That's a 3rd champion. All right. Beat Caleb Plant. That's a 4th champion. Billy Joe Saunders he beat. That's a 5th champion. Callum Smith he beat. That's a 6th champion. I want to show you how bad this motherfucker is because he's a bad motherfucker. Okay. Excuse my French. Beat Sergey Kovalev. That's a 7th champion. Then he beat Daniel Jacobs. That's an 8th champion. Former world champion Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He beat him. It's 9. Liam Smith. That's 10. Amir Khan. That's 11. Miguel Cotto. That's 12. Erislandy Lara. That's 13. Canelo's a bad boy, man. He a bad boy. I'm not going to lie to you. He a bad boy. Faced Floyd Mayweather, lost to Floyd Mayweather. That's 14. So he beat 12 of 14 world champions so far. Austin Trout, he beat him. 13 of 15. Okay? He beat former world champion Shane Mosley, pound-for-pound #1 fighter. That's 16. He beat 14 of 16. That's some crazy shit, you know. That's a hell of a career. Kermit Cintron was a world champion. He beat him at 17. Carlos Baldomir, that's 18. This guy's going into the Boxing Hall of Fame, no doubt about it. We know that. Is he one of the greatest Mexican fighters of all time? Probably. Definitely. Lovemore Endu. That's 19 world champions you're talking about he faced. And he beat 17 of 19 world champions, ladies and gentlemen. And there's one more. This guy's going into the Boxing Hall of Fame, no doubt about it. There's one more world champion he beat. I'm trying to find him. Yeah, Miguel Vasquez. This guy right here. Canelo, a bad boy. Miguel Vasquez. All right, he beat Miguel Vasquez. So he faced 20 world champions. Now, I want you guys to understand something. Floyd faced 22 world champions, beat 22 world champions, right? Manny Pacquiao faced, I think, 21 world champions, beat 21 world champions. Canelo Alvarez has now faced 20 world champions. He's about to face Jaime Munguia, who is going to be his 21st world champion. And he beat, of those 20 world champions, 18 of them. When I talk about a living legend in the sport of boxing, it's Canelo Alvarez, man. We're not including Rocky Fielding and them kind of jokers. We're not including them. We're talking about bona fide world champions, present, former, or future. All right? That's how nuts this guy's resume is. So that's why Canelo say he ain't got nothing to prove. You know, and the kind of revenues and monies he's making is because of that work. He put in that hard work. And there was a time when Canelo was facing everybody. There was a time when he was facing everybody. Right? He wanted that work. So, as much as he's ducking David Benavidez, which he is, you got to respect him. Ain't nobody put in that kind of work. Canelo is a guy, he went up from, I believe it was 154 at the time, after he'd faced Liam Smith, I think. And he jumped all the way up. No, I'm wrong. He jumped from 160 all the way up to 175, 2 weight classes up, and fought Sergey Kovalev and beat him. Okay? So, you know, ain't nobody was doing that. And Jermell Charlo tried to do it. He jumped up 2 weight classes to face Canelo. But he couldn't pull the trigger because he was keep on getting blasted. He kept on getting countered. And I'm going to say this so you guys understand. Jermell Charlo is a very, very strong guy. Very, very strong guy. Canelo dropped him. Why am I saying this? I want you guys to understand Terrence Crawford, he's a very strong guy too. Nobody's saying no. He's strong. He gets hit by Canelo. He's going down. And Mel was smart enough to be defensively minded and not get hit with unnecessary shots by Canelo. He got tagged up with certain shots. He tried to use his jab, but he understood he could get countered. His jab could get countered. So that's why he was so tentative throughout the fight. And Derek James was like, go at him. And he was like, hell no. Okay? Now, I'm not saying Crawford will be like that. And I'm not saying Crawford don't have the skills to maneuver around Canelo and stuff like that. I'm not saying no. Okay? I've seen what Crawford can do. What I'm saying is, after Crawford starts to get tagged up with that power, when he starts to realize that this guy, even Jermell Charlo said it, Canelo's a bull. He called him a bull because Canelo physically in the clinches and stuff was roughing up Jermell Charlo because he's so physically much stronger than him. And yes, Crawford can clinch and stuff, but trust me, man, Crawford ain't faced a guy like Canelo. Canelo is a tank. He's a tank. All right? You see, they're weight classes for a reason. There's a reason why Canelo couldn't beat Bivol. It wasn't just the size. It was Bivol's skill, yes. But also, Bivol, ain't nothing Canelo throw that Bivol never felt before. He had fought big, hulking guys like Joe Pascal, Joe Smith Jr., who could really punch, right? He faced big, strong guys. So it wasn't, you know, it's not surprising for him. Terrence Crawford ain't faced nobody like that in a ring with 10-ounce gloves. He's never. He's not. Canelo has. So there's nothing Terrence Crawford can bring to the table. Nothing that Canelo hasn't experienced before. Plus, Canelo's faced every single style in the book. Crawford bringing something that he already seen with Bivol. He already seen with Floyd. He's going to know how to, and he knows he's going to have the superior power, and he's going to have the size. You think Canelo just going to straight up and down respect Crawford and fight him? No, he's going to brawl him. He's going to bully him. He's going to beat him down. That's what Canelo will do. He's going to have almost no respect for his power. You won't come up from 147. How dare you come up from 147 and try to beat me and talking about stopping me? Hell no. Because Crawford's last fight was at 147. Then you got 154, you got 160, and then you got 168. He gonna let a little 147 pounder do him something? Come on, I don't care what Crawford walks around at. He never tastes that power at 168. There is no way in hell he's going up to 168 and beating Canelo. I'm going to tell y'all right now, he can box. He can really, really box. I told you, he just has inconsistency when it comes to his footwork and his cardio. And he ain't going to have no problem with Crawford with that. None. None. Okay? Right? Crawford is too light in the ass. He's too small. Period. All right? When Floyd fought Canelo wasn't a 168 pounder. Y'all crazy? Canelo was a 154 pounder. This guy done going up to 175 and handle it. There's something called size. Size matters in boxing. That's like Crawford going up and fighting Tyson Fury. Same result. Fury will knock his ass out. Okay? Or going up and fighting Usyk. These are not things you do. You have to acclimatize to the weight. You got to get used to the weight. You got to get used to guys pounding on you with 10-ounce gloves. That's why Floyd said he might as well fight David Benavidez. Because Floyd know that would be a cooking contest. Canelo would cook him. Are y'all crazy? He too small. Canelo will have no respect for him. He just walk him down, beat him up. Because Crawford is not big like Charlo. Charlo's bigger than Crawford. They may be comparable strength, but he's bigger than Crawford. There's no way. Canelo, y'all didn't see what he did to Jermell Charlo? Now, Crawford might try to put up a fight, but after he gets hit with 2-3 solid shots to the body, he ain't going to have no fight in him. Y'all know Canelo like to go to the body. That's how he slowed down his opponents. This is madder than Amir Khan jumping up 2 divisions to fight Crawford. This is worse than that. You're trying to jump up 3 divisions and take on a guy. Y'all lost your damn minds. I don't care who says in boxing that I know boxing enough. I know boxing enough. Oh, I don't care who says that Crawford will beat Canelo at 168. I don't care if it's Shakur Stevenson. I don't care if it's Terrence Crawford. I don't care if it's Mr. McIntyre. And I have respect for all those people. I have respect for their boxing IQ. You ain't going to jump up from 147, go up to 168, and do shit to Canelo. That's not happening. Sounds good. It's a good paycheck. But you will get destroyed. Period. He don't got to respect shit. Period. He will walk through you and he will destroy you. Okay? There are weight classes for the man is built like a freaking tank. And you're gonna just go up there and outbox him. Get out of here, man. Y'all tripping. Listen, I'm not saying Bivol wouldn't beat Canelo in a rematch. I'm not saying Floyd didn't beat Canelo when he was at 154. But there ain't no way in hell Floyd Mayweather beats Canelo at 168. It's just not happening. It's too much of a weight difference. Okay? And Floyd called out Terrence Crawford's bullshit. He's calling out his bullshit. Because that's not about boxing no more. That's about just bullying. Canelo just bully him. He'll bully him. He don't have to respect nothing. Okay? Right? Y'all talk about weight bullies, but yet y'all want Crawford to go up there and get assassinated by Canelo? Come on, man. There's weight classes for a reason. So anybody saying, oh, Crawford could beat Canelo, yeah, if he goes up to 168, acclimatizes to 168, works his way up to 168, yeah, probably. Right? Could take the punishment of 160, of course. But to say that he's just going to jump up from 147, jump up into 168, fight Canelo and beat him, fuck no. He could go up to 154. Fight at 154, then jump up to 168. He's still going to lose. Bad. I know enough boxing to know weight classes matter, and the weight classes get wider and wider as you go up. So it's more and more weight discrepancy you're talking about, which is more and more power discrepancy you're talking about, which is also more and more size discrepancy you're talking about. Them big boys hit different. Them big boys did different. The pinnacle of it, as we all know, is heavyweight. Them heavyweights hit different. Okay? So let's stop with the bullshit about Crawford can outbox Canelo, and he's going to get touched. He's going to get hit. Okay? And Canelo ain't no chump. He can punch. Okay? He's not a chump. He knocked out Sergey Kovalev at 175. Okay? So stop it. All right? Stop it. Y'all getting ridiculous out here. Y'all getting real ridiculous out here. All right? We hearing some kind of ridiculous stuff that don't make no sense. Make it make sense to me. And I know the boxer's been saying some ridiculous things out here. Crawford down the line, if he can make it to 168, I think he tops out at 160. I don't think he makes it past 160. All right? Crawford, he ain't making no 168. He not fighting at no 168. Crawford was even saying with Canelo, man, let's try and do it at 160, right? He was talking about Canelo facing him at 160. He can't make 168. What's he going to do at 168? What are you going to do? Put on weight and become slower? He top out at 160. He not making 168. Okay? So let's talk about Canelo versus Crawford. That's why Floyd called the shit out. He called him out on the bullshit. Oh, if you could take on Crawford, if Crawford won Canelo and David Benavidez won Canelo, well, why doesn't Crawford face David Benavidez? He called him out on his bullshit. You get it? So, cause Crawford, come on, man, y'all, come on, man. Come on, we need to have some sort of sense of reality sometime. That's like me saying, hey man, listen, Naoya Inoue should jump up from super bantamweight, which is 118 pounds, put on 20-something pounds, right? Jump all the way up to 135 and face Tank. That don't make no sense, y'all. That don't make no sense. Well, no, he knew he walks around 130-something, 140-something, so why can't he face Tank? Because he hit different. They hit different in different weight classes. Okay? Even if they walk around at the same weight, Tank been dealing with guys who hit different, absorb shots different. And in one fight, now I knew he ain't gonna be ready for that. So we need to stop it. He knew he got people in his own division he could face. Terrence Crawford got people in his own division and one division up and one division below he could face. If y'all don't want divisions and y'all just want to talk about names like the casuals, let's just get rid of divisions. Let's just have one weight class, open weight. You're an adult, go ahead and fight the other guy if that's what y'all want. Otherwise, if there are weight classes and weight divisions there, respect them. Respect the weight divisions and weight classes. Okay? So crazy talk. Let's try to dampen that down, right? I don't really address this issue too much, but come on now. And Crawford's a smart guy. He knows he can't just jump up from welterweight and fight Canelo. He knows that. With 8-ounce gloves, with 10-ounce gloves? No. If y'all was wearing 15-ounce, 16-ounce gloves, 18-ounce gloves, sure. With headgear if you want or not. Sure. All right? And I know Crawford's a dog, but guess what? Canelo's a dog too. Okay? My problem in boxing is this. Canelo's not going straight to David Benavidez and sorting out that situation. David Benavidez is hedging and hoeing away from David, what's his name? The Cuban boxer. I forgot what his name is right now. So, he'll come to me. You guys know who the Cuban boxer is. Jack Hussein says BLM. I don't know what that means, brother. So, I guess Black Lives Matter. Okay. Cool. You know, I can't remember the guy's name is for nothing. Anyway, the Cuban fighter. And Canelo, nobody's mentioning the Cuban fighter's name. Not Caleb Plant, nobody. David Morrell. Ain't nobody have David Morrell's name in their mouth. I'm gonna mention him. Why you guys ain't facing David Morrell? I don't care who you are. Demetrius Andrade, whoever. Why y'all ain't calling out David Morrell? He's a name in boxing. Why am I not hearing anything? Y'all hear he's from the Cuban School of Boxing. Y'all afraid of him? I think he's a southpaw too. David Morrell. Canelo. David Benavidez. Caleb Plant. Demetrius Andrade. Why y'all ain't calling out David Morrell? I ain't see nobody wanting to have a fight with him. Okay? I'm just saying. So, at the end of the day, if you like this, don't forget you can smash the, there's the 3 buttons at the top right somewhere here. Right, somewhere there. And that's where you smash the like video. I see y'all popping the like things. It's cool. And don't forget you can donate to this channel via PayPal. Keep on saying that over and over. But David Morrell, nobody's trying to face David. Nobody's trying to face David Morrell. They're not even mentioning him. Okay, David Benavidez is making excuses, or the fight could be bigger, blah, 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 blah. No, bro. You either face him or you don't face him. All right? So this ducking thing is interesting because the same people who be gunning for somebody, all of a sudden, they gun shy when somebody else is gunning for them. See what I'm saying? And that's the way our boxing works, right? I'm looking for the people who call out Devin Haney and see how they react. You know, Shakur was one. He called out Devin, and that's good. But then he started to behave like a real dummy when Devin answered the call and made an offer to him for Undisputed. And this guy turned down Undisputed because he said he didn't have enough money in it. And that's why I've called Shakira Twitterson a clown. Since then, he's been behaving really stupid and for no reason at all, but to say, well, look at me. I'm the one that's being ducked all the time, which is not true. You got Schofield, Floyd Schofield, who's calling you out, Kid Austin, and you got Ray Matala, who's calling you out as well. They all want you. They're starting to gun for you. You starting to get a bullseye on your back, and you are yet to prove yourself with a legitimate lightweight in the lightweight division. A top legitimate lightweight in the lightweight division. Again, no fault if you're only in top rank, whatever. But you still have a legitimate lightweight in the lightweight division to face. Now, closest you've been to that is Edwin De Los Santos. Edwin De Los Santos. That's the closest thing you've got to that. And he's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. He's a good fighter. All right? So, but what are you really doing? You say you're calling out the top guys. I don't see you calling out Tank. You have a lot of respect for Tank for some reason. You ain't really calling out Tank like that. And you're not disrespecting Tank like that. You disrespected Devin Haney, who actually answered your call. Tank hasn't answered your call. Tank hasn't really responded to you. Devin Haney actually answered your call, and you disrespected him for no reason at all. Except you're trying to show that you're the most duck guy out there. But the people calling out your name, and they coming for you. They all coming for you. So, will you behave like Canelo? Will you behave like that against Zepeda and all these guys? Zepeda called you out. He want that work. Are you going to answer the challenge? Are you going to actually take that fight? Are you going to make sure Bob Arum makes that fight for you? That's the question. That's the question. We hear, William Zepeda's trainer, his coach, bucking. But he says, William Zepeda really won that fight and so on. Zepeda wants to fight. I know Zepeda wants to fight. But his trainer does not necessarily want to fight. But there is a way, and his trainer acknowledged that Shakur is probably the best boxer in boxing right now. I wouldn't say he's the best boxer in boxing right now because of this. Because what he does very, very well. But he does certain things which you should not do in boxing. And therefore, I can't call him the best boxer. He takes steps directly back. He moves directly back in straight lines. And that's something, you keep moving back in straight lines, you're going to get caught. A guy's going to set you up for something. So he needs to always be angled off in a pivot. And he has an uncanny, he uncannily does that. That's a bad habit. The other thing he does, which is wrong, and it's going to cost him, is sometimes he slides in a straight line. Again, you don't slide in on a straight line. If there's a guy can sidestep you and then make you pay for that. So he needs to be careful about that. And the straight line thing, he does quite a lot, and he needs to stop doing that. But and there's other things. But he's what he does extremely well. You could tell he's always working on his game, and he's very, very sharp with it. But he has to be careful about those things I just mentioned, because you don't do that shit with Tank or with Devin. They don't move straight back, and they work off of angles, and they would whoop your ass. You'd get caught. They'll clip you with something. So just those things that I think Shakur should work on, but he has a habit of doing that. So, having said that, that's all I got for you guys. I am what you need. I spent an hour and 27 minutes, 58 seconds talking to you guys. I'm going to get out of here. I got some other things to do for my day. Don't forget you can donate via PayPal. You can share, subscribe, like. I know smashing the like button is a hard thing for some of you guys to find. It's the 3 dots in the right-hand corner. Smash that. You should be all right. I'm going to catch you guys later. I am what you need. Peace.